As active as well as retired police officers, we all know that you can buy gear from a lot of different places, especially online. But I want to remind you of the importance of supporting companies that support law enforcement. And I don't know a company that fits the bill more than Goals. Their motto is proud to serve those who serve, which they do every single day. And they walk the talk by supporting dozens of public safety-focused organizations like Gold Shields. So when you are looking for gear, support our sponsor and go to goals.com. And Goals has done something special for our listeners. Go to goals.com and use the promo code GOLD15 and receive 15% off the next purchase you make. That offer is good until July 31st. Make sure you go to goals.com. Support them any way you can. Use the promo code GOLD15 and get a special 15% off your purchase.
When it comes to the safety of law enforcement, first responders, and military personnel, every moment counts, especially in the dark. Streamlight provides the reliable, high-performance lighting solutions that these heroes trust in the most dangerous situations, whether it's a car stop, navigating dark alleyways, or exploring abandoned buildings. With Streamlight by their side, our heroes can tackle challenges with confidence, knowing they have the power of advanced lighting technology to guide them. From the first responders on the front lines to the law enforcement officers ensuring our safety, Streamlight is there to make every mission a little easier and much safer. Join us in supporting those who protect us. Visit streamlight.com to discover how you can be part of the team keeping our heroes safe. Because when they shine, we all shine.
Welcome to Gold Shields. Join NYPD veterans Tom Smith and Dan Murphy. With over 50 years of combined experience chasing drug lords, dismantling cartels, and hunting terrorists. Now they pull back the curtain, sharing raw, unfiltered stories from the front lines and the heroes who stood beside them. No topics off limits. This is real. This is true crime. This is Gold Shields.
Okay, welcome back to Gold Shields Live. Where are we, Tom? Tell us. Where the hell?
Brother Bruno's Pizzeria, Washingtonville, New York. Up for Brother Bruno's, everybody.
Hey. Recording today in front of a live audience here at Brother Bruno's. Very excited to be here, and I don't think we should go any farther without thanking our host.
Oh, no, and this is a great opportunity. Vinny, get in here.
Come on over
Come
here,
on,
Vinny.
go.
The long-suffering owner of Brother Bruno's Pizza here. How are you, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
So listen, first thing we're going to do is thank you for this opportunity. This is our first on, location show, and we couldn't have thought of a better place. And that's because of me coming here for the last 20 years, financing your establishment.
You're 2 slices a week in Minnesota, that you do? Loves playing slices.
The bills that are paid, the Smiths are coming in. That's all right.
Awesome.
But there's another side of this, and it's your undying support of law enforcement.
Absolutely.
And you always talk about it. So just tell us a little bit your thought of what you do with law enforcement and why it's so important to you.
I've always been a big supporter of it. I actually, not everyone knows, but I actually tried to become a cop a long time ago. Just couldn't do it physically. Just missed the sit-ups by 2 and just messed me up. But I think in the long run, it brought me here. I've been in this business for 31 years. And, but law enforcement, I have a lot of friends in those positions, and I have a lot of respect for what you guys do or did. From day one, I have 2 other stores also, and every store, we offer a discount for all, emergency service units, paramedics, and people like that. You and I have known each other for years. You were, customer before I was an owner.
Yes, when you just made the pizzas.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I love the brotherhood. I love the camaraderie and and the sacrifices that you guys make as police officers for your family, for all of us. And I've just always had a huge respect for, all law enforcement. So, and I always will.
Thank you, Vinny.
you guys.
You got a great place here. The people who can't see, you're just looking at us, but this is a perfect New York pizzeria restaurant. It's got everything you want. The menu's phenomenal. The food is amazing. And your team, tell us about your team. This is a family feel.
It is. I've owned it for 10 years, and I've been here total between working and owning for 26. Grew up here in this town, and my team, most of them have been with me from day one. And I appreciate everything that they do for me. I try to treat everyone as, the way I would want to be treated, because I started as a worker, and I have respect for all my staff from no matter what position they're in. And I've always, my son is 17, and I've always taught him from day one, you give the same respect for a guy that is cleaning toilets to a guy that owns the restaurant. It's everyone is working to support their family, and family is huge for me. Always has been. I grew up in an old school Italian family, and
Nobody ever raises their voice in your house, right?
Nothing ever got thrown. No cursing. No, none of that.
no, never. Very quiet household, very quiet family functions.
Low key. Everybody takes
Not a lot of food.
No, but I wouldn't change
food at all. You go hungry.
No, absolutely. I wouldn't change it for the world. The way I grew up, the way I was raised, I had amazing parents, have amazing parents. And I owe everything I am to them, and all my family that helped raise me. But I love my staff. They're good to me. I'm good to them. And that's it. You have to take care of your staff if you want your place to thrive, and you want to put out, a good service to your customers. And, it starts at the bottom, and it works its way up.
Yep.
So
That's awesome.
believe in that.
Well done.
And you know what? And everyone who doesn't know this area, I mean, Brother Bruno's is a cornerstone of this village and this town.
Thank you.
They are. I mean, you are. The amount of people that come here, and you mention Brother Bruno's anywhere in this county, they know it. And they know it because of what it stands for, the service you provide, and the best pizzas in Orange County, bar none.
Thank you.
And we're actually going to have a little
We are.
pizza test in a little while.
We'll do a taste test.
Some simple stuff, but
little
we're going to bring it out.
You nervous because we're going to be brutally honest.
I'm not nervous. I stand by my product.
I already have the inside track on this.
I stand by our product.
I've had you guys, so I know what I'm getting.
But Vinny, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you
For
guys.
everything you knew, it's not overlooked. That's for sure. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Food is a great uniter, and you unite people, and you bring people together, and
It is.
you're a humble person, but it's an honorable thing, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you
Have a
guys.
nice day, Vinny.
Appreciate it.
brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
All right, give it up for Vinny. Everybody here that's eating. Anybody here like the food tonight that you had? Not bad, huh? Not
It's so
too shabby.
Thanks for coming.
People are still coming in.
Yeah. We'll edit that later. But part of this show was having a very special guest. That is not only a special guest and an expert in what she does. She is a dearly close friend and part of our family, and has been since day one. Lauren Conlin is just the best. You want to talk about just like nail to it? I'm getting the story.
Oh, yeah.
Digging in.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn what it is. And we are lucky to have her here tonight for our first live show. Lauren Conlin.
Colin, come on up here, Lauren Conlin.
Gosh, I ain't brilliant.
Oh, thank you. I thought it was so nice. Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is so fun.
So
Excited.
So we recorded a show with you some time ago.
Yes.
And you've been a very busy girl. You cover a lot of things in the true crime world. Tell us about some of the stuff you've been doing since we last saw you.
Well, as you know, I did just finish the Diddy trial, and I was so excited for it to be over because it was 7 weeks of, not what you'd think. It was 7 weeks of hearing about this man's personal sex life. But truly and honestly, it was really, really uncomfortable every single day. So I couldn't wait for it to be over. And I needed a break. And now I miss being in court every day, which is so weird. It's so weird. It's so messed up. So I have been attending a lot of hearings, different criminal trials around, or I guess cases that are going to trial around the city to sort of keep me busy and just keep me on my toes to get some of these stories out there that people might not really know about as well. Because Manhattan and just the 5 boroughs in general, it's a pretty messed up place, really. And I think that people should be aware of some of the people that are being released back on the streets by some of these judges as well.
Yep.
And I, just side note, like yesterday, I was at this hearing. Horrible case. I mean, horrible. A 14-year-old boy in the Bronx was how bad can I get? Like, all right, I don't know. I don't want to. I guess trigger warning. I'm not sure if So, he was at a park in the Bronx. His parents admitted that he was kind of going down the wrong path with certain kids. He was not affiliated with any gangs, not yet anyway. But he was a good kid. His parents, they moved here from the Dominican Republic, and they didn't want him to go out. They hid his shoes. They said they hid his shoes. They didn't want him to go out because they thought he was going to get into trouble. And wrong place, wrong time. August 5th, he is attacked in this park with another 17-year-old by 4 boys. 2 of them are 18. The other 2 are 15 and 16. They beat him to death. They stab him, savagely stab him, pistol whip him, and leave him there to die. And he was transferred to Montefiore. He died. His friend lived. And thanks to Andrew Cuomo, I don't need to make this political. I'm very sorry.
Oh, okay.
Stop. I'm like, thanks to Andrew Cuomo. In 2017, the raise the age law, he raised the age to 18 to be tried as an adult. In New York, it used to be 16. So 2 of these guys may not be tried as adults, which means they'll be re-released onto the street probably in 10 to 15 years. But I did attend the hearing with the 2 18-year-olds yesterday. And this boy, this 14-year-old boy, his entire family was there. And it was awful. His mom was sobbing, holding their other son. And I think that, when the 2 defendants walked in, the 18-year-olds, I was shocked because they had their family. One of them had family in one row. The other one had about 8 friends. And it was almost like it was a basketball game. They were cheering for their I guess their son or their friend who is in Rikers for allegedly stabbing this 14-year-old boy to death. And these 2 defendants are like waving to their family, being like, I love you, laughing, talking like it's nothing, while you have a family on one side whose life is just destroyed. This mother was sobbing while they were laughing. And I think for me, I never get scared after these hearings or after covering these cases. And for me, I went to bed last night and I was scared because I thought to myself, those 2 kids are the type of kids that you could be begging for your life. You could be like, I have kids. I have a family. Dead behind the eyes. Right. They don't care. The fact that they were laughing over, allegedly taking a life, I guess innocent until proven guilty. But, it was awful. Nobody knows about that case.
No.
Like, no one knows about that yet. So,
right. And the other scary part is that there's thousands of people walking past them every day that they could just pick out at any point and do the same thing. And, you're right about New York, and that's the horror show of what's going on now. The story you just told, that's one we heard of. How many are out there that are happening every day, and kids are getting released and bad guys are getting released that you're seeing every day, being down there and covering these trials. You get to see the mess of what is going on in New York right now. And hopefully it changes. Fingers crossed, at some point.
I think it actually has gotten better, truthfully. But, like yesterday, NBC was there and this judge said, you can't be in the courtroom taking pictures because these defendants, their age is 18, which is an adult. They're tried as adults. But he said, for safety reasons and, their age, we can't have their picture out there. And I'm like, that is BS because this is really serious and their faces should be out there.
Right.
They are dangerous
No, I agree with
They're
that.
dangerous people. So it's like they're being protected, and it really bothered me. Yeah, I was just so bothered by everything about that. And just the fact that, again, two of these people most likely will be out on the street in 10 years, and this is a gang related incident. I believe it is. And so it's really terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff that if you work as a New York City cop and detective like we did, and Craig is in the room, Craig Wood, wave, he did too. You understand just how much stuff there is in the city that doesn't make the papers. There's a lot of crazy stuff that doesn't make the papers. I was told a long time ago when I was a young cop that the papers and the press care about Bowling Green to 96th Street. Bowling Green being the lowest point in Manhattan up to 96th Street. That's it. Anything that happens in the other boroughs, it has to be unbelievably newsworthy or have some other piece about it that drives an agenda. A small girl, something like that, a victim like that. We used to have, jokingly, the public service homicides. One drug dealer kills another drug dealer. Not that you don't care about the loss of life, but their drug dealer is shooting out over drug territory. It's hard to feel either one of them is going to be an innocent victim of anything. They willingly partook in this life. They willingly got the gun, took it out, and shot it. But innocent victims like this kid, they're not going to see paper. They're not going to see coverage in the press because they don't fit a story's agenda. We have to have some things about an agenda, and we can talk all day long about what you see in true crime media, why this story's hot, why that's one's not, right?
Totally.
And you live in that world of true crime, but you still go and see these types of cases too.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I think you're familiar with this one case. It's the Kansas mom case.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is, I won't like name names or anything, but I was tapped to do some kind of development on this case for perhaps a documentary to sell to Netflix, whatever. And, I put so much work into this, and it's such a crazy case. It's such an important case. And then when it came down to it, didn't fit the bill. It wasn't these blonde, beautiful college co-eds that were murdered. I guess they just didn't look the way they should for like an ABC Nightline or, whatever. And that's also really hard to swallow as well. So yeah, there is sort of this stigma still to this day. You would think in 2025 there wouldn't be, but there is.
Right. Because it's just what sells. That's what it is. What's provocative, what's going to sell. But backing up a little bit, it was so, just mentioning Diddy again. How fitting was it, after everything we just talked about, that trial took place in New York? Like, it had to take place in New York.
Definitely.
So
yeah,
you were in that courtroom every day.
Yeah. And
you did, not because you're sitting here, we've had this conversation, amazing job translating what happened in that courtroom on your feed and just updating everyone about what was going on. But you sat in a courtroom with that other case and scared to death. How was it sitting right behind Diddy during that trial?
It was fine. It really was fine. It was actually a small courtroom. There was only 21 people that were press, 14 members of the public. And then they'd have, interns from the federal courthouse come in, people it was Diddy's family. His kids, I would say, were in there pretty much every day, except for his twin daughters were there at the beginning and at the end. And they actually left the room when one of the escorts was describing, again, a very private sexual encounter. And I'm kind of like, he had one friend that was in the courtroom every day, but he was a pathetic sight. I mean, you look at these people, and I also, Harvey Weinstein's another one of them. Like, you've got these guys that were once on top of the world, and like Harvey's being wheeled into the, and he's just looking at everybody in the gallery, and he looks pathetic. And it was the same with Diddy, but you could tell that Diddy was very bothered that he wasn't like the go-to guy, that he didn't call the shots. So there was a lot of note passing to his attorneys and whispers and whatever. And his attorneys would be like, okay, yeah, we get it. And sometimes they would, I guess, do what he said, but you could tell it was hard for him to not be in control, I think.
Well, he's a renowned legal scholar, as we all know. Sean Combs is a leading mind in constitutional law and criminal trial law. So if you're on his legal team, you better listen to him. He knows what's best. as evidenced by his recent conviction and hopefully soon incarceration.
I mean, I feel like, and this is the other thing, I'm not trying to help the guy out, but it wasn't a great case against him. So he was convicted on these Mann Act violations, and he's sitting in jail for that. And, he should have been sitting in jail for aggravated assault in 2016 for the beat down of Cassie Ventura. But instead, he's sitting in jail for, and you guys know, nobody sits in jail for prostitution. I'm sorry, they don't.
Right.
It's weird. And so, again, I'm not trying to help the guy out, but it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
And me and you had that conversation during the beginning of the trial going, where's the case? Where's the witnesses? Where's the evidence? Get it out there. Let's go. I mean, you came out with that and really
didn't want me to, they didn't like me for that either.
But you were, but it was truthful because it never really got there.
No.
With all the coverage and Nancy show we were on 1,000 times with that, all three of us with Diddy, and it never got to that point. So when is the sentencing soon, right?
It's October 3rd
Okay.
is sentencing, but
Multi-calendars,
Right. Put in your reminder and your followers.
I knew you guys knew that. Okay, yeah. It's October 3rd. No, but like sometimes I would wonder, because I think that some of these publications, they were getting desperate, and I would look at their headlines and I'm like, were we in the same courtroom today? Because I remember one of the headlines from TMZ or Daily Mail was like, Diddy was dancing to freak off videos. And so we didn't get to see these freak off videos. They were shown to the jury and to the lawyers, so they had headphones on. And actually, once the headphones were a little bit loose, and we didn't know what they were watching, but we heard like moaning, and I was like, we were like, oh, what's that? Okay, we were like, oh, okay, this is awkward. And actually, one of the court guards was like, Judge, like we can hear. I was like, shut up. I was like, we want to hear. But I guess there was music being played, and someone said that Diddy was dancing to, like, and I'm like, no, he wasn't. Like, I'm not trying to help the guy out, but let's not sensationalize everything. So yeah, there was a lot of grasping, and Diddy actually has $100 million civil suit out right now against Nexstar, one of the civil attorneys, Ariel Mitchell Kidd, and this guy, Courtney Burgess, who was the one that pretty much laid the foundation to say, oh, we have sex tape of Diddy with minors and celebrities, and he drugged the baby oil and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden that kind of spread across, the media. And that's what we thought we were going to see in the trial. And we didn't. So he's suing them for, again, $100 million.
This sentencing is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So we seem to have a current trending going on in the world, at least. And it's, if you have a lot of money and you're a guy, you will be ultimately involved in some disgusting things that's going to end up in a courtroom. At some point, it's going to happen. It's maybe not everybody with money, but all these high-profile people, from Epstein to Diddy to you name it, go down the list. There's all kinds of people who get involved in these lifestyles because they're so used to having what they want, when they want it, how they want it, and they get more and more power, and people just say yes to everything they want. And they buy it, and they manipulate it. You have Diddy's a manipulator. These guys, Epstein was a master manipulator of human beings around him. Everybody did what he wanted because he's the guy with the money and the influence. And so you have to wonder who's going to be the next.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're right. We're living in a society where people are taking civil suits as fact, and you can pretty much say whatever you want about anybody in a civil suit, unfortunately. And until it gets to court or to trial, no one's going to really know the truth. So I think at a certain point, where do we draw the line?
Right.
Because these allegations, they just spread, and they're crazy. I mean, there's a Fat Joe lawsuit. I was reading that, and I was like, this is insane. This is so insane that you're just like, I don't know what to make of it. And so I think it's also about ruining the reputation of some of these people, and it's working, I guess, But I don't know. I feel like we're kind of getting out of cancel culture a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're. But yeah, I
mean, I was listening to R. Kelly on the way up here. Is that purple? I was like, oh my god! And I was like, I should change it. And I'm like, I'm alone.
He's back.
I just told you guys. I told you.
He's back on the playlist.
He never left. Sorry.
It's okay to admit that in front of the audience in 90 countries,
right?
Who are now listening, have now formed an opinion about. It's okay. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You know, one thing about serial killers, we just mentioned it earlier, we touched on it. I find this fascinating. It depends upon the victim, right? It also depends upon the killer. Like a guy like Ted Bundy happened to be the handsome, articulate man about town who everybody liked, who came across as great, had people fooled. And then he went after young, attractive women. So he was the classic, like people, true crime writers, the media, they love that story. There's no lose for them with that. Then you look at a guy like Samuel Little, who murdered prostitutes, basically. Prostitutes, throwaways from society. I don't mean that with a negative. It's just kind of the way they're viewed by the media. Nobody cares. We worked a lot of cases with his body found on the side of a road. It's a prostitute. No family's looking for them. They're a person down in their luck. That's not making the news.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get these cases that have that combination of the killer themselves is an interesting person who lives a double life, it's like you can write the script, right? And so I find it fascinating how many cases are out there of serial killers that are prolific, that nobody knows their names. But we know the ones who killed 5 or 6 people because of A, B, and C, because they're cool, because they came from this background, right?
Yeah.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know if we've seen, I guess, the serial killer. I think Brian, obviously there's.
Go ahead, say his name, because we're going to talk about him.
There's Rex Heuermann, right? I mean, he hasn't gone to trial yet, so we don't know. But yeah, Brian Kohberger, I was like, wow, he really is the first quote unquote serial killer I think that we've seen in a long time that just kills at random, has no connection. I mean, right? It was like the 70s, 80s, 90s. We saw a lot of this. But yeah, I think Kohberger, if he wasn't caught, he would have done it again.
Agree.
At random.
Totally agree.
And yeah, he terrifies me, completely terrifies me. And so I agree that they had to take a plea deal, to be honest. I know maybe I'm skipping ahead here, but
no.
I mean, especially after that press conference, they didn't have that much.
Right.
I guess they didn't have enough where I would feel comfortable, even though I'm like, he did it. He's the guy. We all know he's the guy. But you sit down with, the jury sits down and his attorney pokes some holes in the genealogy, DNA testing, which is new.
Mm-hmm.
He could have walked.
Oh, yeah.
He literally could have walked. So I think it was probably the right move. I know our friend Nancy doesn't agree with that.
Yeah, but you know what? You have to weigh a lot when it comes to a plea deal. First, putting the families through what they would have had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that would have been major trauma. Again, reliving it again. And then the possibility of losing is there. I mean, could you imagine that catastrophic event if they do all this, the press, the coverage, the shows, the documentaries, and he walked?
Like an OJ.
Could you imagine that? I think even worse today because of 1994 media and 2025 media.
Much more intense than
If that happened, it would have been, there's no way you're explaining it. And like, you're right. That is sheath of a knife.
That's it.
All right.
And there was other people that there's just, you could have pointed to the DoorDash person, the other DNA found on the railing. They would have re-victimized these families by probably pulling out toxicology reports, how much they had to drink, if there was, drugs in their system. They're college kids. Like, this happens. And so, I know that Kaylee Gonsalvez's family was very much against the plea deal, but I do think the other families eventually were okay with it. And more information keeps coming out, but I don't know. I think that he's going to not last long in prison. I know he's in solitary, but I think that.
Well, I heard, there was a story yesterday or today that there's a vent that I think goes into his cell that other inmates are now yelling into his. So they're already starting on him. He's not going to. And the one thing I am interested in, he's going to do an interview. He has to, because he wants to.
He's an egotist.
He's going to do an interview. It's just a matter of with who.
Yep.
Right.
And when. But he will. He will. Because if you look at it as the classic, let's just say, like you said, serial killer. Serial killers aren't famous till they're caught.
Mm-hmm.
And until they talk. Like who they are. They're this kind of specter or whatever. But not today's world. He's going to sit down with someone, just no matter who.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wish I loved Olivia Gonsalves, everything she said, because I just think that, And I don't know if you knew this, but she worked with this renowned criminologist, forensic psychologist, Dr. Ann Burgess, in order to get under his skin, in order to make him flinch and get that clenched jaw when she's calling him a loser. Ooh, sorry, but you messed up, bud. You look nice. Like, what do you do? You're so smart, but you literally leave. You're a moron. You're actually a moron. And you attack these kids when they're sleeping, when they're drunk. You're a coward. She nailed it. She literally nailed it. I loved the pedo comment too.
Yeah.
That was,
and if my sister was awake, he was sure to kick your ass.
totally. Yeah. So, I so agree with that. And oh man, I don't know. I don't care what he has to say anymore. I don't think anyone should interview him, but I get it.
But they will for ratings. They will. That's as predictable as it comes.
Who do you think should do it? Like Dr. Phil? Like who would be a good? I don't even know.
No.
They should do it.
We'll have him on our show.
Yeah, but
I think Lauren Conlin.
No,
Right?
it's gonna last. I think
Lauren.
he's scared.
We'll get him for you.
Or Gold Shields.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. We'll have him on. We'll skewer him is what we'll do. He won't have an easy time with us.
I know.
No, we'd give him a hard time. So, in terms of serial killers, you look at a guy like Ted Bundy. He made the media work for him, and he was such an egotist. Could you imagine him today? He would be on every show. He'd be on The View. He'd be on Dr. Phil. He'd be on, you name it.
Right.
Gut Phil tonight. He'd be on everything.
Right.
Because he couldn't get enough media attention.
Well, you look, and we talked about this. Could you imagine? I mean, the serial killers of history,
Mm-hmm.
Son of Sam, Night Stalker, Golden State, all that. Could you imagine that today in the media today?
Oh, man. Yeah.
If any of those cases took place today?
But they wouldn't.
What?
Now we have cameras everywhere.
Well, yeah.
DNA.
All right, don't ruin it.
Come on. But that's what I was just talking about this.
Go with it, Lauren.
We can't. Like, this won't happen. We will catch them.
I know.
You guys will catch them. So, and sleuths, like online sleuths. Like, I feel like, sometimes I wish I went down the law enforcement route, but I'm too much of a, sorry. I'm too much of like, I would get into a situation, I'd be like, right? I was like, you guys can handle
I'll be outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. No.
No, I think you would have been fine. I think you would have been
I'd
fine.
be fine behind it. But that's about it.
But you're right. Cameras are everywhere nowadays. And I tell you, the citizen sleuth thing is pretty interesting. If you work as a detective and you catch cases and you get a homicide case or you get any other case, you've only got so much time to work on it before there's 2 or 3 more coming into your little bin that you get your cases out of. You're busy. A lot of stuff is happening. You don't have the time. However, a citizen sleuth can now go online and find records easily, find court records, find transcripts, all kinds of stuff's available. They can go to a courthouse and come back with reams of information about a case and spend months going through it in a way that cops and detectives can't. Which is why, in my opinion, if I was still a detective, I would listen to citizen sleuths. I'd give them an ear because you never know. They might have fantastic information about something.
So, yeah, but I agree. You have to, with the resources that they have and the availability of all stuff they can get into, I'd listen to them too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we said it all the time. Just do the case. Okay,
Yeah.
who solves it?
Yep.
Get the bad guy.
That's
I
what
don't
matters.
think law enforcement is like that now. They're not. I mean, I can just say that like I think you know about this case, Nikki McCain. She's a missing mom out of Shasta County, California. It's just everything points to her husband. Basically, she was set to testify against him in a domestic violence trial, literally, and she disappeared 4 days before. And all these weird things happened. And so I was working with, Brian Fitzgibbons.
Yeah.
He's with you. Yeah. So Brian and his team, jumped on this case with Shasta County. They were working hand in hand. And then we brought in Jarrett and I, Jarrett, he's a lawyer. This guy, we call him the no body homicide guy, Tad DiBiase.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So we were like, we brought this guy in who specializes in no body homicides, 1. And then 2, this other guy who was ready to work for the reward. Okay. His name is Doug McGregor. He's a geoprofiler.
Okay.
Basically, police just hand over this file and he can narrow down the possibilities of where a body could be. Not, instead of like an entire county, we're talking like a neighborhood type of thing. And they were like, no. They said no. He doesn't cost anything. He just wants the case filed to put his guys on it. And I don't understand why they said no.
Well, here's why. What's going to come out of a big case. Your documentary, your Netflix series. That's what they want. Where we didn't have any of that. Get bad guys. That's all it was about. Have your boss pat you on the back and go, great job. That was it.
That's horrible then. She's just, like, she's still missing. And they've changed it from missing person to homicide now, but they're not asking. I don't even know if the FBI is involved. I have no idea, but it just is weird. And this was the same area as, Sherry Papini. You know that, the hoax.
Yeah.
My theory was that they effed up Sherry Papini so badly because she never was actually kidnapped. They spent all this money, time, resources looking for her that they're like, oh no, we have to right the wrong here and, do this ourselves and get this pat on the back. But it's been over a year, so I don't know. Yeah.
So where do you see, this whole world that we're talking about of true crime revolves around crime, investigations, prosecutions, and the coverage of all of that. Where do you see this going now that we're in the era of AI? Artificial intelligence is changing everything, and I think it will very soon change everything. It's going to take away our need to think. I hate to say that. I haven't thought in a while. But I would hate to have to start doing that again.
Yeah.
But where do you see that in terms of the review of evidence or the review of statements and stuff like that? It can put stuff together.
What do you think? I don't know about.
I don't know.
I know what I do. I know.
Yes.
Well, no,
So-
I'm just saying I know that I will get a lawsuit. I did not go to law school, so I will drop it into Grok and I'll be like, summarize the main points for me. And he'll do a decent job, but I still have to go through the lawsuit.
Yeah.
I don't know about when it comes to evidence. I have no idea. I just know that AI is not going to work in law enforcement, in my opinion. I think.
No.
I don't know about that.
I think some of it, there's parts of it that will.
If you have reams of information, well, first of all, let's say, for example, you have phone records, right? There's already systems that can pull out anomalies in that. But if you have statements, if you have lengthy statements from hundreds of witnesses to something, if it can go in and it can review them and find you similarities, differences, point out certain things, and save you 100 hours of reading time, that would be a good thing.
That is a great point.
Yeah.
That is
Find you
point.
inconsistencies in witness number one's first, second, or fourth statement. Sometimes you interview people more than once. That kind of thing that don't jump out at you. Granted, detectives are pretty intuitive. I'm sitting talking to somebody who tells me a different story than the last time. It goes like a bell in my head. But if a case is handed off, and that's what happens a lot in law enforcement, open cases, cold cases get handed off to a secondary person or a third person or a cold case squad, and they've got to review the whole thing. And they don't have that gut feeling. They didn't sit in the room with the person. They're just reading what was written on the report. So I think there's an opportunity for it to do good, but AI kind of scares me in certain ways too.
Yeah.
It really
Good
does.
point, though. That's a good point.
That sixth sense that's out there, though, too. That's what I mean. There's parts of it that'll probably be great, but I'm still the eyes and ears feeling thing.
Human being in a room with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question for you. We're going to put you on the spot, sort of. Out of all, you've covered Diddy, Karen Reed, Kloberg, all of them. What, other than them, or maybe them, what's that one case that you just can't get out of your mind, or is just that kind of little gnaw in your neck? What's that one that always comes up in your head?
There's probably two for me, but you know it. It's the Kansas mom's case. That one, it's still unadjudicated, and it's two mothers. One mother was the target, I guess, here, but they were murdered by 5 people, allegedly. Hasn't gone to trial yet, but that called themselves God's Misfits. And these mugshots, they look like something out of a Rob Zombie movie.
One of your movies.
It is literally, it is just terrifying, and it was all over. And you hear more and more about this stuff, a custody battle. It was a grandma that wanted custody of her son's children, and her son was no longer with this young mother. And because of all of these nasty custody battles, the young mother, she lost custody of the kids because of something that the grandmother did. And so they were, doing a drop-off. And I go back to this case because so many people failed this young mom. Why would this county ever allow a drop-off not at a police station knowing that it's so hot, right? They allowed this drop-off on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. And I went to the pretrial hearing. I was doing some coverage for this. It was, I mean, this is just like a side note, what it takes. Like, I guess when you're reporting on this stuff, I flew from like Newark to Amarillo, Texas, had to rent a car. I'm alone, by the way. It was horrible. Amarillo, Texas. I had to drive like 3 hours to Kansas where I was staying and then drive every day an hour to Oklahoma to court. And again, I was alone. I mean, I should not even say this, but like I hit a dog by accident. Like, no, it wasn't. It was just literally a farm dog ran out. I mean, I'm not used to it, and I was just like,
if anyone's looking, we know where she lives.
I know.
So.
No, my dad told me
You have a warrant?
You never break for deer, right? You'll die if you try to break for a deer. And so I just was like, oh my God.
You have just witnessed, ladies and gentlemen, an admission of culpability.
I'm sorry.
ASPCA 1-800.
Easiest interrogation I ever did. I didn't even know I was asking her about that.
I pulled over. I did everything I was supposed to do. But anyway, my point was this was just not, it was not easy. And then on top of that, a pretrial hearing is where you gather all of, the judge hears all of the information, all of the evidence that's presented to determine whether or not a case can move forward to go to trial. So 2 of these defendants, they flipped for the state, and the one guy, and because the death penalty was on the table, the one guy that was responsible for one of the murders of the women got on the stand, and he told us exactly what happened. And both women's families were there. And I mean, it was so brutal. So brutal. Like nothing I had ever heard before in my life. I had never been in the presence of a murderer in my life. I know like you guys have, but I my first time. And at one point he said that after he stabbed Veronica, that's the young woman, and by the way, what they did was they told them to meet them on the side of the road, and they had this trailer, and they said the kids were inside the trailer and they had a baby calf, and they wanted to show them the baby calf. And Veronica had another mother with her from her church, Jillian, who was just there as like the court-appointed supervisor. And so they said, oh, the kids want you to see this calf. So Veronica gets out of the car, and I'm thinking like I would have fallen for that. I would have been like, oh yeah, let me go inside and see this calf. And he described like kind of bending down and having like a hammer. And he just, as soon as she opened the door, he just started hitting her with this hammer. He's telling us, and by the way, he's crying through this. And when you're pressed inside a courtroom, you're not really supposed to show emotions. You're supposed to just be, unbiased, report it. And I'm listening to this and I'm like trying not to cry. And he talks about how the hammer broke. He hit her so hard it broke. And she's fighting. He said she's fighting so hard. She ends up taking like a taser from him and tasing him. And then he said he kind of blacked out and just started stabbing her. And so he said that he eventually kind of fell over when she wasn't moving anymore. And the prosecutor said, well, what was Grandma Tiffany doing? And Grandma Tiffany was allegedly the mastermind, the mother-in-law here. And he said that when he collapsed on the ground and Veronica was dead next to him, bleeding out, that she walked in a circle around them and laughed the most evil laugh he had ever heard. And when he said that, both families screamed. And he started just breaking down. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, and then I'm like, I have to go back to like an empty, not like it's about me. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. But I'm just thinking like this whole experience was so horrible. And I still haven't been able to, and I'm not even getting into the other woman who was not even, and again, her family was there, and it's horrible. It's going to be almost 2 years before this case gets to trial. So that's the other thing. The system just drags it out, and this case I think about all the time.
There are people in the world, and this is something that you learn as you go through life. Many people do. Some people don't. They live in a bubble. But at the end of the day, there are people in this world who are evil. There's a percentage of our population anywhere in the world that has an evil in them. When you're in the presence of evil, our job was to be able to pick up on that. And I've only sat across from, I'd say, a handful of people that I would say were really evil. A lot of people who were stupid. A lot of people who did stupid things because their friends were there. A lot of people who wanted money and revenge or were emotionally upset at that moment. Those I consider to be different over here. Then you've got your pure evil. Your most famous serial killers, This guy, when you're around a person like that, you feel like you have to go take a shower. Like, I got to get this off of me and it's a really powerful feeling. People who have been almost victims, have survived encounters with people like Ted Bundy and others, have said something really, really felt like I got the creeps from that person. That's because they are a predator of the worst kind. And you were in the courtroom with that person. And I can understand why later you still felt that heightened sense of awareness, and every part of your psyche was picking up on the fact that he would kill again in a heartbeat and like it.
Well, so it's funny you say that. This guy actually, he showed remorse. He was, not that it matters, but I think he was manipulated to a degree. He wasn't the smartest guy. He had some substance abuse problems. The grandma, I would say, she was the most evil. She controlled everybody, allegedly. Can I just do a blanket allegedly, since they're not? Okay, great. So I done it. Yeah, I know, but just whatever. Whatever. Yeah, so she, I think, showed no emotion. She was smiling. He, again, too little, too late. He apologized profusely. He said, he would take it back, all this stuff. And honestly, the grandma lied about certain things. Certain things she said happened to the kids under Veronica's watch, and he felt like he was doing some sort of like vigilante justice to, it was so, yeah, it was like you've got evil killers and then you've got stupid people that can be very much manipulated as accomplices and carry out these horrible acts for these people that think they're, so smart.
And when you get people who are pleading guilty as they're standing in front of the courtroom, in front of the family, who just maybe gave their witness statements, their victim impact statements, you got several different postures. The first is going to be, I'm so sorry, I'm filled with remorse, I throw myself on the mercy of the court, try to get the best deal that they can get and pretend that they're remorseful. Then you have legitimate remorse. People who are like, I lost my mind at that moment, but right now, I have in my mind, I know it was bad, I detest what I did, I'm sorry. And then you have those who go into a courtroom, and we've seen this, who want to act like the tough guy because they know they're going behind bars. And they don't want to be a guy that cried in the courtroom, because that follows you. That becomes your reputation. This guy, he punked out in front of a judge. You have to be the tough guy. They want to be the tough guy, so they look at the family and they smile and they laugh and they pretend it's nothing. Or they look at the judge. I've seen doing gestures like this to the judge. Insane. But they think, I know where I'm going. I'm not avoiding the rest of my life in prison. I'm going to make that as easy as I can at the expense of the family. I don't care. That's my world I'm going into. I better prep for it by being a tough guy here, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good point.
And you just said it too. Sometimes, how many shows have we been on, whether it's the news or Nancy or whatever, and we get asked, why they get that, or what was in their head, and we've said it all the time. Sometimes it's just evil. Sometimes crazy is just crazy. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no other explanation for it. Crazy is just crazy. And I think it's that in this case, because it's a heartbreaking case. We've talked about it before, and there's unfortunately so many. I mean, we could sit here for 3 hours and go over cases that are just heartbreaking. What I want to do, if anyone wants to, does anyone have a question for Lauren about anything? What? Really?
Any of your favorite cases that she may have very in-depth? This is a woman who studies true crime cases like to the nth degree. She'll have answers for you if you have a question.
All of them, though.
Well, I mean, you can make it up. I mean, you can make it up here. You're with us, crying out loud. Give an answer, yeah.
What? Okay.
Okay, well, a question on its way. Oh, come on.
So, what do you have? We got... Oh, go ahead.
The Karen Reed page.
Karen Reed.
Yeah, I never believed that she hit him, only because you had the medical examiner, you had the outside expert that came in. Nobody said that his injuries matched being hit by a car. And then you had the prosecution saying, oh, she accelerated, by 40% in 3 seconds, which is pretty much only, I think, a NASCAR driver could do. And then they said she did it on purpose and she murdered him because she left him, 50 plus voicemails calling him a pervert. I mean, I'm sorry, but only Betty Broderick does that. You've got like Scott Peterson, you kill your wife and you're like, hey, babe. Like, I just didn't believe that she killed him. And then she was like, that wasn't a thing. And then you've got just really strange behavior from the witnesses. That was big for me. I'm not saying that they're responsible for anything, but why do you get rid of your dog, sell your house? Why do you not come outside? Why did you all get so many butt dials that night? Why did you say you went to bed, but you didn't go to bed? You're parking cars at this. It just didn't make sense to me.
The
military bases, right?
Yeah, the one thing that stood out to me with that case, that again glaring because, and we talked about it, about the prep for the witnesses was horrible. I mean, how many times? Oh my God!
I'm sorry for the prosecution.
Yeah, the prosecution's prep for the police officers, detectives, troopers, whoever it was hideous. I mean, we used to sit in the DA's office for a week before we would go to trial.
Wow.
Go over this, make sure this, bring this out, make sure you say whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's not coaching, it's preparing, for your testimony. Nothing staged, but they just seem so caught off guard with some of the questions. Like, you got to be a little better than that and think what's coming. And once you get a jury, once you get cops, Hammond and Hahn, you're done.
Yeah.
They were hostile. A lot of the witnesses were also hostile. Oh my gosh. It was tough. It was tough to watch a lot of that. It was like,
but once the jury hears that, they just turn it off.
Yeah.
They turn it off.
Credibility is everything. When you're a witness in any kind of a trial, credibility, or else people are not going to believe you. But that case, one of the most interesting things to me, and one of the reasons why I think, obviously, the media latched onto it so much is because she's an attractive woman, and she loves the spotlight.
She did love it, yeah. I mean, I think towards the end, she was like, I just want my life back here. But, yeah.
Go ahead. Question, please.
Oh, I mean, that's just real. It's horrible. It's so sad. I think going back to that case, I don't think anybody could have predicted what was about to happen. So you think about what the police should have done when, they pulled them over or and it was tragic that she became the aggressor to them. But again, it's like, it's tough to predict. But I think in the end, I think his parents should have been charged with something. I do. Yeah. So I think they helped hide whatever. You do? Oh, that's interesting. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
There you go.
Wow, that's a good conspiracy, actually. No, that really is good. Because didn't they find his body? Right, no, his parents were the ones that found his body.
Yeah.
Forgot about.
They looked for 2 weeks, and the parents walked in there 5 minutes later. They're like, "Oh yeah, we found."
That's a great point. Ooh, now I have to start digging. Yeah.
I like that. That's a good one.
Another one.
So the jury did get it right. That this is my opinion. You can ask other people, and I think some people could say that the sex trafficking predicates were met, but the evidence that we saw, the text messages, the voice messages, the photos between Diddy and Cassie and quote Jane Doe, they would indicate that he didn't have this. Number one, this guilty mind where he thought he was trafficking them and forcing them, because I'm sorry, men can be simple. You tell them if you tell them one thing, they're not going to be like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" He's like, "All right, great." Like, whatever. And I think that, part of the defense here was, sex trafficking is by force, fraud, or coercion. And their fraud, I guess, was like, oh, if we have this night with this entertainer, I'll take you on this boat ride to an island. And the boat ride never happened. And he took this other woman on a boat. And the defense is just like, look, promised quality time is not a federal crime here. We're going into this weird, area. So that's one thing. And then the Rackets hearing, I mean, I felt like that was so stupid. The co-conspirators were really these assistants, they didn't think they were part of a federal crime, sending baby oil to a hotel room to set this stuff up. I mean, it's tough. I think that these predicate acts, drug distribution, that is as simple as if I have a joint in my purse, I give it to you. I'm distributing drugs to you right now. I'm committing a federal crime. Interstate commerce, traveling with baby oil because it was manufactured in New York to Miami. That is violating. What?
Right.
What?
Okay.
So, I
there's
think
a lot of
they
different.
got it right. I do.
There's a lot of different liberties that can be taken with federal law, and I think sometimes they overreach. However, Tom and I were both kind of surprised, having worked as we have with the Southern District of New York. Usually they're pretty tight. Usually they have their act together. Usually they don't even take anything into a courtroom unless they feel very much slam dunk 100%.
Who doesn't work there anymore?
Unless
call me. She got fired right after Diddy.
Yep.
So.
And I think two reasons for that, but we'll go with the one reason. Dan's right. The Southern District of New York is the most powerful
In America,
U.S. attorney's office in the country.
95% conviction rate.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't even go to trials. They plea out. Their perps plea out more than anything. Because if they got you, they got you. And I think all of us said that on shows that we were on in the beginning of this.
Yeah.
Like, he's done. If the Southern District's got you, you're done. And I don't think they did a good job. Like you said, the overreach part, trying to make something out of something.
And the parade of these women coming in, you don't want to see anybody be victimized. But if for 5 years he's buying you jewelry, taking you places, paying your rent, helping your career, and then all of a sudden he stops and now it's like, well, no, I didn't agree to all that. It lacks the credibility part. It's hard to establish that.
I was watching some of these jurors when, Jane Doe was, there were some moments that were tough. Like the jurors were just not having it. Like there was an exchange between the defense attorney and Jane Doe. And she's like, so you were jealous of young Miami because, Mr. Combs bought her, whatever car and you got what? Like a purse? And she's like, well, it was just this whole back and forth. And she's like, but you wanted this, you wanted that. And she, she kind of admitted to a degree that this is what she wanted. But yeah, there was some pretty just awkward moments being there. But I will say the day before the verdict came back, a lot of us got and I think Diddy as well, because the jury sent a note to the judge and said, we're hung on one charge and we're good on the rest. And there was a moment when they got this note that Diddy's attorneys kind of they stood around him and blocked him from everybody because I think he was having a moment and one of his attorneys like rubbed his back. I think he thought like he was going down. Yeah. I think for a split second it was getting real to him and he was like, oh my gosh. And there was a guy behind me I got close with who was NYPD, worked with HSI. He even said that was kind of a hard moment to watch, even for me. So yeah.
Amazing.
Interesting. Any more questions about any cases for Lauren while we have her here? When's the next time you're going to get somebody like Lauren sitting around waiting for you to ask questions about your favorite crazy people cases?
Talk too much. I need to...
No. This is what this is, my dear.
You're allowed to
listen. The one thing we want you to do, all right? You got how many shows? I ran out of paper trying to write down all the shows you're on.
No, I don't know.
We got PopCrime TV.
That's my YouTube channel. Yeah.
Right. So go ahead. What else?
That's my YouTube channel, PopCrime TV. You can follow me there. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much the simplest thing to do because I upload all my podcasts and everything there. So.
And Nancy Grace, you're on.
Sure. Yeah.
And we've been on. It's great when you get kind of backstage funny stories. About especially being on Nancy. Lauren and I will literally text each other the entire show. Like why did you say that? Why is she asking me that? Why do
we on a show and Nancy comes to me and starts asking me about guns and I'll start asking you about guns. I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm like, did I say that right? I have no clue.
Oh, we're doing a show on Diddy, and It was in the beginning.
Yeah.
When they just hit all the search warrants in LA and New York and all that. And Nancy starts talking about one of the search warrants and asks her, how's the search warrant done? How is it tactically done? What's recovered? And I'm watching her face on the screen, and I'm not on the screen, so I'm just laughing.
I'm like,
And then they went to like different clips, and she's texting me. I don't know what to say. What do I say?
how did that sound? Like, you okay with the gun talk? Yeah.
And then she comes to me with something you should have answered. It's a funny thing, but I think what we're going to do now is something you should do in a pizza place, right?
That's what I hear.
And
Yeah.
and eat some pizza.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we need a kind of taste testing.
We need to test out whether or not Brother Bruno's Pizza lives up to its reputation.
I agree.
You've been eating it for 20 years.
20 years, so I'm a little biased.
Yeah. Well, I've had it before. It's good, but let's
I have it.
Okay. So
we're gonna make you eat 6 slices. This is your hot dog eating contest. Coney Island, 4th of July. Joey Chestnut, Lauren Chestnut. She almost married him. Didn't you guys almost marry at one point?
We didn't. We
No, okay. All right.
definitely
Dated-
up with me. No.
Dated for a while. Broke your heart. You still cry yourself to bed. I know. I'm sure.
Like hot dogs. What do you want from me?
That's bad too.
I would imagine it's disgusting. Yeah.
While we have a second, and I really want to do this, they're gonna get so mad at me, but too bad. All right, because it's our show. We get to do what we want.
Mm-hmm.
We have our team here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first time we've ever had the entire Gold Shields team in one place.
We're more a virtual team than we are in person, but yeah, tonight's special. Tonight's special.
Our producer and editor, Ovette Mendoza. Ovette.
Without whom nothing gets pulled together.
All right. I'm still sitting in a closet with a old Dell computer. If it wasn't for him. Our graphic designer, Taylor Smith. And our social media manager, Lily Pena. And honestly, we don't have a show without these 3 people.
No, it's just 2 knucklehead ex-cops sitting behind cheap microphones pretending to have some knowledge about things.
Right. And if anyone's looking, we did not set this up.
Yeah.
So
this is way too high-tech for us.
We can't thank the 3 of you enough for what you do. Thanklessly, every week, every day, communicating with us. Hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. What about this? You're 3 of the best around. So thank you so much for everything you do. Really.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I think the pizza's coming.
Yeah, well, we're not Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports, who seems to not like anything. Vinny, please, come on, bring it over here. We got some hungry folks here. All right. All right, you're in Brother Bruno's Pizza. If you don't eat the pizza, who are you?
All right.
That's a grandma.
Oh, yeah, all right. It smells good. Smells like something my mother would have made had she had any idea how to cook.
Which one should I have?
You have a regular one first.
Love you, Mom. Sorry, but it's true.
All right, fine. I'll do it first.
I jokingly like to say that my mother is to cooking what Etch-a-Sketch is to fine art.
Thank you.
That's the other. All right, well, we're about to try here. We're going to give an honest assessment. Let's try the
Here, let me get you.
honest slice here first.
And then we'll say goodbye. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah,
All right.
I got it.
Fold it. One bite, everybody knows the rules.
In the pot. It's amazing. It really is good. It's really so good.
It's amazing.
You know what I'll say? It's a good sauce ratio because sometimes it's too much sauce. I don't like that. So okay.
See that? So while we're doing this, we're gonna say goodnight. We're not gonna stop eating to say goodnight, but we're gonna do it at the same time. Thank you, everyone that's here, for coming out. It was a great night. It's our first one of these. It won't be the last, but thanks everyone for coming out tonight. Thank everyone out there. And we're not going to deviate from what we do on every show. And being that we have a large crowd here tonight and they all understand this, say a prayer for our law enforcement officers out there. Keep them safe, keep them protected. Our military vets are victims of crimes that we talk about on our show. You see a law enforcement, a cop sitting in the car, say hi, give them a wave, pat them on the back in the store, because that means the world to them. You don't know what kind of day they're having, and a simple gesture of thanks is a big deal to them. So please, always remember them and their families and keep them in your prayers, please.
Yeah, and we have a lot of friends of the show who we like to shout out to, and we won't do too much of that tonight, but I will say that if you have a heart for helping the men and women of law enforcement and their families after they have given the ultimate sacrifice, look at organizations like Concerns of Police Survivors. Have one less Starbucks a month and throw them $5. Little things add up. Tunnel of Towers, the Wounded Warrior Project, so many great organizations that we become affiliated with that are doing excellent work out there helping people who have given their all. And ultimately, these families are going on without them. And if there's a way that you can help them, do it, because that's your money well spent. Yep. And then take what you have left and come to Brother Bruno's Pizza here in Washingtonville, New York. I get that in there.
Place. That's my favorite, the grandma.
Perfect. Right. And a special thanks, as always, to our premier sponsor, Goals.com, tacticalgear.com, Streamlight, all our great sponsors that help us do things like this, because without them, we're not sitting here tonight. So please check them out and support them, because they are the biggest supporters of law enforcement out there. So please support them. And as always, why not? TheGoldShieldShow.com. Check us out, YouTube, at Gold Shields. Please check us out. Follow us. Subscribe to us. All that good stuff. Everyone that's here tonight, please give yourselves a hand. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Everyone stay safe out there. We'll see everybody soon on our next show. Be good. Thank you.
Enjoy. Manja.